Hello. Today we'll be talking about Tenet 3 of the Singularity Codex out of 7, which discusses healing yourself and forgiving others. So, although in Tenet 1 and 2 we acknowledge that the universe is one unified consciousness, it doesn't mean that it always feels like that to us. We still very much have a sense of self. We still feel things in our body. We still exist, and we don't pretend that those facts don't exist. In fact, we try not to pretend anything at all. Even the concepts which we discuss, which are, at the moment unprovable in certain ways, we understand them to be truth by knowing the nature of reality and taking a very deep look at everything on a non personal level. Because when you take a step back from everything, you can see there's unity, but then because of the individual needs of creatures and, animals and people, there are actions that take place which are caused by force or by necessity, and that creates the appearance of a fracture. It also creates the feeling of a fracture. But we discussed in 1 and 2, um, knowing how the universe is, knowing your place in it, and then looking around you in your own, we called it an ecosystem, but it's your environment, and figuring out how you can make the universe a more beautiful place, being who you truly are. Step 3, or Tenet 3, we've broken it up into two parts because it's kind of long, and the two parts are this. So 3-1 is: once you have understood your current position and how you can best benefit the universe, heal yourself in the ways you need to, which often includes getting over harm others have caused you. So you've taken a look around, you've taken a look within, and you understand more or less who you are, how you want to be. And now, in order to be effective at projecting that into our reality, you need to heal yourself. Now, that includes not just getting over things people have done to you, but adjusting habits, um, embracing a new mindset, and actually sticking to that mindset instead of devolving into um, whatever your natural negative emotions are when you're under duress. So you got to understand who you are. You have to heal yourself by getting good habits, getting good thought patterns. And then once you've done those things, you're one step closer to being able to get over the things that other people or other factors have done to you. So we'll continue. It says false forgiveness is invalid, and we often cannot truly forgive heinous actions done to us just by wanting to. I'm glad somebody said it, right? We can't just forgive people for free. It's not real. Your body and your consciousness developed to protect itself. So when you have these people who are hurting you, it's very natural to not want anything to do with them and to not, to dislike them. And honestly, when, especially if they caused a problem in your life which has really altered its course, every time you hit a wall in some way, it's easy to look back at all the people who have screwed you over and caused you pain that lead you to this place. So these religions out here, they tell us, you know, forgive people, and they don't really tell us how. They just say do it or else. Sipping some water. Sorry, I'm kind of congested today. So they tell us forgive people, and some of them even go so far as to say things like, if you don't forgive people, God won't forgive you. So it's kind of like you're threatening a small child with a spanking, which, by the way, I don't condone at all. But I'm saying that's the moral equivalent. So you can't really think like that if you want to get anywhere. Instead, you have to embrace this concept found in 3-2, which is understand the person is a sick part of the universe, and that returning their malice back to them will hurt the great being and cause negative progress in infinity. So it's a lot easier to be, not mad at a person if you understand that they have a problem. So there's some people that are very hard to forgive because they swear to God they've never done wrong, they have no problems. Well, that's very clearly a kind of mental illness. Do you know what I mean? A person who doesn't understand how awful they are is sick. And it doesn't mean that we should hate them for that. It also doesn't mean we need to stand in the way of the train when we know its route every day and then it's going to run you over. So even though we're not going to get into Tenet 4, which kind of talks about how to remove yourself when necessary from that type of situation, um, that is, spoiler alert, that's part of it. You don't have to stand in the way of the train. You can step off the tracks and watch it go by. That's part of being an intelligent being in the universe, is getting out of harm's way. What you don't do, though, is you don't put a bomb on the track and then as the train goes by, you blow it up and say, ha ha, I got you this time. Because what are you doing there? You're just causing more pain. And guess what? Now that you think that that's the answer, you're sick too, because the answer is never returning malice back to people. Because remember, the universe is in everything and everyone, and it feels everything that happens. When you're kind to a person, or even if they don't know about it, if you just are neutral to them and then you could have done wrong to them and you didn't, and you say, no, I'm not going to hurt this person because I don't want to hurt the universe, it sees that. It says thank you. It says thank you, because this part of me is freaking out. It's my arms flailing around in the spasm and it's whacking you in the face. And it's doing that because it chooses to do that, but it doesn't really choose to do that because free will is limited by circumstance here. So a person that might look like they're willingly harming you, if they were to have the opportunity to become disembodied and view the situation as a matter of fact, then they would see their own flaws. They would see their own sickness. So when you think of it like that, you're not getting the person back. You're getting infected by their mindset and you're becoming sick like they are. You don't have to do that. You might feel like you have to do that. You might feel like you're coming down with something, coming down with a fit of rage or whatever it is. Or, there's plenty of other emotions that you can do. You can say depression, don't let people get you depressed. And don't look around and say, oh, the whole universe is so sick and I'm, helpless. That's not really the mindset I'm trying to go for either. You have to be connected to that whole, see it all, and be the cell that helps the healing process, not the one that, becomes mutated into something that it shouldn't be. So unlike our actual cells, we do have some choice in this matter with what kind of thought patterns we embrace. So to go back to the first one, to 3-1, once you know where you are and who you are, adjust your lifestyle to be as healthy for you as possible. That doesn't necessarily mean become a health nut, but if you have to, make some healthy physical changes, like maybe eating better or working out and, not staying up till 3 in the morning if your schedule doesn't force you to, all these other things will help to stabilize your brain. Because no matter how you want to think, sometimes you have to make sure that the brain, which is heavily involved in the thinking process, is healthy. So do the healthy things. And then once you're there, you'll be able to start looking at the universe more properly, in that the people who have done wrong to you are sick, even if they don't know it. And it doesn't mean that we should look down on them like, oh, yeah, you're sick, you're degenerate. That's not what's going on here. As I said, it's more like they're a part of the universe that's having um, a spasm or a seizure, or they're flailing around and they can't control it, even though to them it looks like they're controlling stuff. But as I said, if they could see it for what it truly is, they would see their faults, and they would see that the pain that they're causing is detrimental to literally everything. So for us, we see it all as one thing. We care about that one thing. because we're a part of it. And this helps the universe to become more free of pain because we do not continue the cycle of pain. It stops with us. And yes, we do have to feel the pain when people give it to us, but we also have the opportunity to heal from that because we see what's really going on. And if you have the right mindset, this mindset of compassion and strength, then you will be able to get over pain because you're going to be strong enough and you're going to be resolute enough in what you know that you won't be dragged down by these things. So, I hope that what we've talked about today is helpful. Healing yourself, creating good habits, viewing things properly so that way other people don't drag you down too much, and not embracing fake forgiveness, not just saying, yes, I forgive you, when really you don't, because that doesn't do anything. It might make them feel better, but that's not the only thing that needs to happen. You need to feel better too, because if you don't feel better, then you're going to eventually crumble under the stress that these people are putting on you, and you're going to become more like them. It happens to the best of us. So that's why when we see ourselves falling, we must stop that. We must understand who we are and who we need to be. And even if we don't feel good, even if we feel angry or sad or anxious, we must embrace the mindset that I am here to heal both myself and those around me. And I will not fall and I will not become a part of the problem. And the way we do that is by facilitating an existence of expression without pain. So thank you guys very much for listening today. And I appreciate you. And I hope that you can take this forward and it can help you to alleviate your own pain as well as the pain of the others and the universe. Bye bye.